Hi, I'm Mike Hulvey, President and CEO of the RAB, and welcome to Radio on Main Street, the podcast all about radio. We recently attended the annual NAB Show in Las Vegas. Over a 5-day period, this convention brought together 61,000 attendees of our closest friends and featured keynote and informative sessions focused on topics relevant to broadcast, media, and entertainment. Now, the buzz around the exhibit floor and the session rooms was high, with some key takeaways including the continued excitement around innovation and, of course, AI. Now, RAB's immediate past CEO, Erica Farber, and I had the opportunity to sit down with thought leaders from the industry, and we talked about their plans for the future. A big thanks to Enco in Benstown for allowing us to record live in their exhibit booth every day of the convention, including a historic first for the RAB, live stream interviews. Now, over the course of the next several weeks, you will have the opportunity to listen in on some of those conversations. In the first episode of the series, we hear the live conversation that I had with the aforementioned Hall of Fame broadcaster, Erica Farber. In this personal interview, I had the opportunity to hear from Erica about her personal radio journey and the experiences that led to her leading the RAB for 12 wonderful years. Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Radio on Main Street. And we're doing something very unusual for about the next 30 minutes, and that is we have flipped the script. I'm Mike Hulvey. I will soon be the President and CEO of the RAB with Erica Farber, who is the President and CEO of the RAB. And for this very first live stream from the NAB in Las Vegas, so we are making somewhat of history here at RAB. But Erica, you are now the interviewee, not the interviewer. How does it feel?
Awkward.
How many interviews have you conducted? And I'm not looking for an exact number, but you are such a great interviewer. And I think what makes a great interviewer is a great listener. So you're always listening when you ask a question, and not for the next question, but for the actual response. So how many of these do you think you have done in your career?
I honestly can't answer that question. I sort of look at this, especially being in sales or with anything, in a sense, every relationship we have, there's an interview process that goes on. And so I think it's not just about listening, but it's also, I'm a curious person. I want to know. And when I ask someone something, I don't already know the answer. There's some people that ask questions and they're just asking it. But I really want to know.
All right, so I want to spend the first part of our time together in reflection. Then I want to spend the rest of our time together looking forward. Okay? So my first question is, why radio for Erica Farber?
Well, unlike you, as an example, I did not grow up thinking I'm going to work into radio. I fell into radio, so my journey was a little bit different. Once I got into radio and very quickly saw the impact a local radio station has with its listeners, that's what hooked me. That's what I related to. And that's when I knew there's something there, and I want to continue that journey.
As a radio operator, you were a trailblazer. You and I are good friends, and we have beyond surface level conversations, which I love and I value. And you've shared stories along your journey, and again, this is a part of looking back, where you were the only female in the room. In very large markets running amazing radio stations, you were kind of on your own.
I was, and most people were not that kind to me. I look back at some of the things, and today, some of the experiences I had would have been considered egregious behavior. But I hate to say we didn't know any better, but when I started, if you confronted a situation or did something, you would be fired and you wouldn't get a job again. I had a lot of tears, but I also was like, darn it, I'm not going to let them get me, and I'm going to somehow overcome this. So I had a handful of people that did help me and supported me, but it wasn't easy. And I got a lot of recognition early in my career for the wrong reasons. Because I got recognition because of my gender, not because I had necessarily done something professionally that deserved it. So because I was under that microscope, it made it more difficult. Because if I did make a mistake, and Lord knows I made many, it was like, see? We all make mistakes. But as I said, I was under a microscope a lot more than I think the average person at the time.
So fast forwarding from there, you did not let that stop you. And there were other amazing women in our industry that didn't stop there.
Yes.
And one of the things that I value about you is that you didn't stop there, and you found ways to channel that so that others behind you wouldn't experience that, and they could do things that were unimaginable, perhaps, when you started. So give us some insight into that journey, a journey of leadership to creating opportunities for other women, for you to blaze the trail, and you've won the Trailblazer Award with MIWs. I see how I did that there. But talk about that journey, the journey of leadership.
Well, someone gave me a chance early in my career. Someone gave you a chance early in your career. But I also was very aware that there still is, by the way, a gender bias. Now, there are people who will say, oh, no, that's not true. And yet in that conversation it will be, I have a woman. How many times have I heard a very successful manager who is not female say to me, oh, we have one. That's not the point. The point is, are we actually doing our best to keep the doors open and having equality? I don't care the color of your skin, I don't care your gender, but are we truly opening the doors and not only bringing in the very best people, but the more diverse our teams are, it's a proven fact that the more diverse your voices are within an organization, the more successful you are. And I see it. I had a guy sue me years ago who I had to terminate. And he said in a deposition, well, we know that Erica is anti-men. She only hires women. And I remember sitting in that room and I looked across a table from him and I said, if you truly believe that, why would I have hired you in the first place?
Right. You were there. So when you look at the young people in our industry today, and the RAB, I'm very proud of. I go back to a board meeting. Again, this will be a little inside baseball to our viewers and our listeners, but it was a board meeting in Phoenix. It was following one of the radio shows in the mid-teens, in the 2000 teens, and the conversation was, we are not seeing enough young people in our conferences,
right,
in our national gatherings, and what can we do about it? And members of the board stepped up and said, well, let's make sure that the young people can interact with the professionals. Let's pay to have them come.
And I don't know if you remember this, but Jeff Warshaw.
No, it was Jeff.
He was the first person to put his money where his mouth was.
It was absolutely Jeff Warshaw from Connoisseur. He started, and then it was board member after board member, large company, small company, medium company. The company I ran at the time
we provided 5 scholarships. Bud Walters at Cromwell, 5 scholarships. iHeart much more than that. So, but what we accomplished was we ended up with well over 100 scholarships paid for by broadcasters for students to engage with broadcasters.
I want to jump in here on that because this is so important. And I hear this from the students in our institutes. And so this isn't a complaint, but I'm going to ask anyone listening to this or watching this. Someone gave us a shot early. I'm hearing from students. They'll send a resume, they call, and it's crickets. I understand it's hard to get your foot in the door, but at least have some mechanism. If someone takes the time to send you something, even if it's a form letter, to just respond to them, to say, I'm sorry we have no openings at this time. And again, you can have a standard form letter, but I cannot tell you how many students I hear from that they've tried to get their foot in the door, and that door, it is not ajar, it is slammed.
Ghosting.
Yeah.
We have to do a better job of that.
We do have to do a better job.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to have a few more questions on the past, and then we'll look to the future. In your 12, almost 13 years of leadership of RAB, what are some of the things that come to top of mind that you are so proud of that have been accomplished by the organization, by the team, by the board? When you think back, again, 1 or 2 things that come to the top of mind, and that's always the tops.
Well, I will say there's so many.
Right.
The first thing that comes to me is we have an amazing team at the RAB, which you're starting to find out. I always like to say we're small, but we're mighty. So I'm very proud of the individuals that work at the RAB, that understand the mission of the RAB, and live it and breathe it every single day. We don't have people, there is no one at the RAB calling it in. So I'm very proud of that. I'm also very proud, and even though the perception is not exactly where I would like it as I leave, but all of our members are treated equally. It doesn't matter what market size you're in, whether you're in the number 1 market, an unrated market. We care equally about each and every member, and that is genuine. And I'm very, very proud of that.
It's important work, supporting an amazing industry, sellers on the street every day all over this country, in large and small places, having meaningful conversations with advertisers and businesses who employ the residents of the communities that our radio stations serve.
And Mike, I'm going to interrupt here too, because we've been there. I started in local sales with the Yellow Pages. I know what rejection is like. You know what rejection is like. You get more no's than you get yeses. So having that additional support, we know the pressure that a broadcaster's under today. We know the challenges. But at the same time, as an industry, the more we can lift up each other and provide those tools and resources, we feel that pain. So we're not just sitting in an ivory tower.
No. All right. Getting ready to shift to the future, but not quite yet. In the last couple of weeks, I came across a quote from Simon Sinek that was meaningful to me, and I would assume is meaningful to you, and then I would like your perspective. And you mentioned the team, but Simon Sinek had a quote, and it said that the work we did together mattered. And as I shifted away from the Neuhoff Company after 30 some odd years, the work that our team back in the Neuhoff Company did mattered, and I was very proud of the team and the communities and the brand. I mean, and all of those things, and will remain so for the rest of my life. Using the Simon Sinek quote now for you here at RAB, the work we did together mattered. What comes to mind?
Oh my gosh, I cannot tell you how many phone calls or emails or in-person meetings even coming to a convention like this, when individuals reach out to us and share either a very personal story, a very specific story, but they share how we were able to help them and support them. That means everything to us. The one thing you're going to find in this job, which is pretty interesting, is our members trust us. And what I mean by that is sometimes a member will share something with us that they may not even share with their direct manager. So it could be a frustration. They could have read something in Radio Sales Today about the tip of the day or an article that we published, and they'll share with us a very personal story or a frustration. But they trust us because they know we're not going to go to their boss and say, did you know X said this? They know that we're going to help uplift them, provide them information, certainly support them in any way we can. And you're going to find that, and that at the end of the day, you are so enriched. I don't even want to say proud. You're just so enriched that what you did mattered, and you see it. And there isn't a day that doesn't go by that it may not happen directly to you, but one of your team members is going to share a story with you, and what probably the most frustrating thing is, how do you share that goodness and have every member feel that way?
Amazing.
But it does fuel us.
I'm looking forward to that.
Well, you're going. It's amazing.
So, how has this experience been for you? You made a decision a year ago. I'm going to do this. We tried to talk you out of it, because there's only one Erica Farber. One.
There are many.
No, there's one. So we tried to talk her out of it. She was resolute. Jeff Warshaw, our board chair, was, I think, just fabulous in how he has managed this process. But how has it been for you?
A little overwhelming. You make a decision. First of all, I'm so grateful that I'm in a position I was able to make that decision on my own. I know that some of our brethren don't always have the opportunity to make that choice when it's time to step down. So I'm grateful for that opportunity. The board has been great. We shared the information with the team because I wanted them to get used to it. It gave time for us to get our house in order. What's the true mission? What are we going to look for in our next leader? So it gave the board time to reach out and determine what they wanted to, what were they looking for, and who best fit that challenge. And obviously it's you, Mike, and I'm excited for you. I'm excited for the industry. And now as it's gotten closer, this isn't, I never like the focus on me. And that's been the hardest thing for me. It's, I don't know what the future holds for me. I'm excited about what could be. I'm excited that I can make those decisions myself. I just sort of wanted to move out as quietly as possible, and you guys are not letting me do that.
No, absolutely not. Again, for those that are watching and listening, we had the opportunity in March to honor Erica at the last RAB board meeting that you oversaw. It was an amazing night.
It was.
I know you said you hated every minute of it. I know that is not true. And you appreciate the love. But there was a lot of love in the room.
Yes.
Dan Spears, great friend to all at BMI, presented Erica, and this is like the appropriate thing. A framed gold record with inscription. Perfect.
Pretty amazing.
Perfect. A video that was...
and I have my bracelet.
Oh, and then the board, and I don't know how Jeff Warshaw did it, with some help, I'm imagining.
I have all these great charms of my glasses.
It's a custom charms.
It's a custom charms about radio and the RAB, so I will always hold that dear.
The board put together a very personal video, and then the staff did as well, and it was emotional, and
There
it
were
was
lots of
awesome.
tears.
No, 100%. And then here in Vegas, and of course you and Terry live in Vegas, so it's a home game, which is nice on your travel. It was an Uber to the hotel and convention center. You're being honored on the main stage this week, and then you are receiving the highest award that the Broadcasters Foundation of America bestows, and you have been a long-time board member of the Broadcasters Foundation of America, doing amazing work for broadcasters very quietly.
Well, and I will just say, for those of you listening or watching, if you are not familiar with the Broadcasters Foundation, please learn about it. But basically, you know, we're so fortunate to work in this business and make a good living. And the Broadcasters Foundation, all of the money that we raise is to help our broadcasters that unfortunately, due to things that are beyond their control, illness, disasters, you name it, we take care of our own, and that's what it's all about. And I can't think of I know we all have our charities and that are important to us, but I hope that everyone would give some consideration to our own industry, that this is an excellent way to be able to give back.
Well, I can personally say as a broadcaster, when we have lost broadcasters that have been close to our family, our donations go in memoriam to the Broadcasters Foundation of America. And when we had a loss in our family, there were donations made, and it meant a lot. It was the people we cared about were remembered, but the money went to support fellow broadcasters, and so just a plug. All right, we said past, now future. When you look ahead, what do you see?
Wow. It's a little chaotic. I mean that because it's coming so fast. You know, the theme this year here is all about AI. I think we're all excited about it, but at the same time, what does it mean for us? So, again, as long as we remain curious and open and continue to learn, if we shut down and expect it to stay the same, forget it. Nothing is going to stay the same. So I'm excited about the opportunity. I don't even know what it is. I don't know what the future looks like. But I'm welcoming it, scared. But then, you know, that gets back to the next generation of broadcasters, too, because they've grown up with technologies that you and I didn't grow up with. And the more we have those diverse voices coming into our operations, that's what's the exciting part. You know, how do we grow it? What can we do differently? We know that audio consumption is at an all-time high. Has traditional radio had some challenges? Absolutely. But we keep reinventing ourselves, and it's still free. You can get it on any device, and you can stream it. So I'm not ready to say that it's over, but I'm definitely looking ahead. You know, we're on the exhibit floor here. I hope to walk away with some new thoughts and ideas, and just let's not limit ourselves.
Right. I agree, and I share your optimism. No shock, but I see...
March 4th and be positive.
With a smile, not a frown. But I see the future, and I see it's bright. It's different. Our distribution platforms have all changed. Thank goodness, right?
Yes.
We're everywhere. If we create content as an industry, that our listeners want, that connects with our advertisers. You know, we're seeing branding come back and yesterday in the conference, the term branding was used over and over again, focusing on a different place in the funnel.
And there's sonic branding, jingles. I mean, just
and we're in all those spaces.
Absolutely.
And we're in all those spaces, and no medium is more nimble than we are.
But I do want to add local.
Exactly. We can never forget where we are. We can never forget who we are. We never can forget who we come from and how we connect, and that's the future.
And let's listen to our own stations. You know, you and I travel a lot. Love to listen to the local stations.
Right.
sometimes the only thing that makes that station local are the commercials.
Yeah.
You don't even know what city you're in listening. So I just say that as someone who's passionate about the business and cares about it. Let's not lose sight that that is what separates us and gives us so much runway.
And that will be a reoccurring theme as long as I'm sitting in this chair, or any chair, for that matter. Well, Erica, our time is just about up. Let me just personally say, I know you've heard it 1,000 times, but congratulations on an amazing, amazing career, which is not over.
Thank you.
Is not over. You have committed to certain projects with the RAB, and I can't thank you enough for that. Our commitment to the women of our industry, to our young people in our industry, to our diversity remains rock solid, and we're going to look and explore new ways to expand upon what you've done and what the team's done. That's my promise and pledge to you.
I thank you for that, and I just want to reemphasize, I know we are in excellent hands with you, Mike. And I'm excited for you, and I'm excited for us looking ahead.
Erica, it was fun hanging out on Main Street here at the NAB with you. This is great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As I shared on the podcast, in the words of Simon Sinek, the work Erica and the RAB team did together mattered. As I start my own personal journey at the helm of the RAB, I take with me Erica's mantra of remaining curious, open to learning, and above all, never forgetting who we are. Local radio broadcasters doing important work in the communities in which we live and work.
If you'd like to learn more about radio and its many benefits, we invite you to visit us at rab.com, or you can email us directly at askrab@rab.com. Until next time, it's Radio on Main Street.